Hi guys, how we doing? So, I am actually really excited to get started on these guys. I think they are just the cutest thing. Um, I do have plans to work on her bun today because it is definitely seen better days. And then we're going to go ahead and primer the bench because they are actually two separate pieces. So I am going to bring these guys down so we can kind of see what we're working on here. Let's see if I can figure out how to set her so that we can actually see her bun as I'm trying to do it. Let's see. There we go. So I am using the last piece of my clay to try and kind of fill it in because it is unfortunately missing a piece that someone did try to repair it at some point in time. And I think just to increase the size of my clay a little bit, and move Demos's bed here. There we go. Trusty dusty plaster of Paris. I don't use plaster a crazy lot. It's one of those things, I'm better with actual stone and concrete, but I'm just looking to reinforce and thicken up my clay a little bit and increase the amount of it that I actually have. So I just realized you can't see what I'm doing through the couple, so we're going to raise them up a little bit here for a second. I'm actually really excited for what I'm going to do with this couple. Since it was my grandparents, it's still my grandmother's, and they're such a cute little couple with her and her knitting and him and his book. My thoughts are I'm going to actually kind of try to recreate the way my grandparents are in my eyes. So simple little things like my favorite shirt that she wears is this really pretty light blue sweatshirt that I bought her many, many years ago. And she still wears it. So she'll be in light blue and maybe a darker blue apron. Or I might paint the apron white. I haven't decided on that yet. And my favorite picture of my grandfather is he's wearing this really pretty yellow color. So I figured we'll do his shirt that. And then I don't know if we'll do black or tan for the vest and pants. But we're going to bring these guys back down here. Trying not to get plaster all over everything. So obviously this is going to take a little bit of doing because I am going to have to come back in and kind of do the hairlines a little bit more to recreate that bun and even it out with the rest of her hair. But you can kind of see why I did what I did with the mixing of materials. And we're going to use just a little bit of this back here. I have worked in plaster a few times. I do have molds that once in a while I'll take an urge to work with. This is obviously not the recommended method, but you do what you gotta do with what you've got. And in this case, I need it a little bit more malleable, so a little bit thicker and less the easy pour option. I'm going to add just a little bit more to this, just to thicken up a little bit. Today is less about getting paint on my hands and more about getting a little bit of plaster. Just a teeny tiny bit. But we do want to shore this up and make sure it's nice and solid. So that's going to probably take a couple of days to dry fully. And in that time, we're going to go ahead and do this bench. Now, this bench, I absolutely love. It actually looks like it should be kind of ornate. It's got all the carvings. They're just all one color right now. So, I am going to pause you guys just for 1 second and run out and wash my hands. I will be back in just a minute. So that is one detail I really, really love with this phone, is instead of just having to stop it every time and come back to it, I can actually just pause. We're going to set them like that. That way they're just kind of chilling off on the side. Get that out of my way. And I fail at proper preparations here. I've just got to open my primer up a little bit, which would be easier if I knew where my hammer was. Sometimes you have it all together. Other times you really just don't. And that's just the way things go. Today, obviously, I am a little bit of a mess, but I'm kind of okay with that. It's just part of being who I am. I would like to know what I did with my hammer, but a screwdriver works in a pinch. So, as I said, I love the details on this bench. So, we're probably going to do... I actually painted a whole concrete bench once. And it was white with gold details, and I absolutely loved it. So, I'm thinking that's probably what we're going to do with this. For now, my plan is just to get it primered, and I love how primer does kind of bring all of those details out a little bit. Boy, this brush is a little stiff. Don't do this to your brushes, guys. I don't do that to my good brushes, but it does work for my cheap dollar store ones that sometimes you don't get all the paint out of them perfectly. And they decide to just stiffen up. I'm due to pick up another set of those soon, because I am hard on my brushes. I try not to do it to my good brushes too much. So this couple is one that I will be primering every piece. There's so many little details, both with the bench and with the couple themselves, that I think it will pay to do them correctly. I think these guys will take me a little longer than some of the other projects that I have done. Actually, I've already been working on this for a little while, because when they came to me, this bench had a huge indent from how the couple has been sitting on it in the sun for so long. So I did get it straightened out, at least mostly. It still has a little bit, but not nearly what it had. I probably won't go crazy on the inside details like in here, but we are still going to get her primered even underneath, which I probably should go ahead and... Unfortunately, my methods of straightening it out did leave a little bit of staining in here, but that's alright. It's not going to be visible in the long run, so I'm just doing this way real quick because I should have done it this way first, but, well, I got ahead of myself. Which, it's easy for that to happen. That is for sure. Thankfully, I only got a little ahead of myself and not all the way ahead of myself, right? So I will have to probably do a second coat on this. So it's going to be another deal of I don't probably do that on camera. I just think you should only have to watch me paint something solid white once. And coming back and repainting it solid white a second time is just not really fair. Which I just realized as I was doing this, there is actually a little cherub face in there, which is kind of adorable. Which definitely reinforces my... I want to use my gold paint and hit the details a little bit harder on here. Which, once again, I've gotten ahead of myself and started on the outside instead of the inside. You guys will hear me mention once in a while that I do have a strange combination of ADHD, OCD, and anxiety. Some days, one or two of those will work together and just have me a little all over the place. When you've had it as long as I have, and you've just, after a while, you just kind of learn to roll with it. Sometimes you can be really organized and do everything in the proper order. And sometimes you just have to accept that there is no order. It's just, as long as it gets done and gets done properly, you can't beat yourself up over it. So we are going to turn this around and get paint on my hand because we have to, right? Would it be one of my videos if I didn't get something all over my hands at least once? Though I will say, I think this is the first time in a good while that I had to stop a video just to go wash my hands and come back. So... and I definitely appreciate the interactions with my posts about Deimos. I'm fairly certain he is holding it when we have him inside and not going to the bathroom inside at all, which makes it a little bit tricky. I don't know why he seems to almost fear his litter box, but we'll either get him trained or we'll teach him to use the toilet, one of the two. And there we go with paint all over my hands, so you know it's a genuine video of mine. Though why anybody would want to copy me, I don't know. I didn't even realize there's a little crack there. That's alright, though. It's supposed to look like a stone bench, so a little crack here and there is not actually out of the ordinary. I'm actually quite thrilled with how well this material is taking the primer. On this type of vinyl, primer is always a good idea because it doesn't always like to hold paint. So the primer kind of helps in that as well. There we go. Let's see. Okay, we're not doing bad on time. I wasn't sure how I was going to do time-wise, considering I intended to do both things today. There we go. And I really think, I don't know if I'm going to paint it white or try to kind of make it look like marble. But I think this detailing definitely needs to be gold. I think that'll just be kind of a nice, pretty little shimmer in the sunlight. And maybe we'll hit these guys with it too, where it has that pretty little ruffle look to it. I know a lot of people do swear by like spray primers and things like that, and I have nothing against them, but I love the process of a brush-on primer. It's not as neat, and yes, you get paint on your hands periodically, but I feel like you get more in touch with your project when you're taking the time to go in and make sure every little hole is filled in, and just generally, it makes you notice the details a little bit more that you might miss if you're just spray painting a thing. We've almost got this guy primered. So definitely feel free to let me know what you think. Should we paint this guy just solid white and come in and do the details in metallics, or should we paint it to look like marble? Do you guys think I should do something different than metallics with the detailing, or do you agree that the gold would be good? I like opinions. I do struggle to get them a little bit for some reason. Once in a while you guys will pipe up with a good idea or an option, but I would love to get more of a conversation going. Here we go. I have to grab my little couple here. They want to kick my light. But there's a start. And for her hair, we do have a good start on it. It needs to dry, and I'll have to come in and kind of carve the details back into it a little bit. Let's put this guy in water. And we're going to set these guys here for a second. And bring them back around. And we're going to end here. So we will have more going up tomorrow. Hopefully her hair will be dry. If not, we'll get good and started on the bench. If it is, maybe we'll do a 2-part thing and get these guys primered and then get started on the bench. Either way, I will talk to you guys next time.